Good night, everyone. Johnson. I God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight, and the topic gonna be Daniel trusting God in a lion's den. Now yesterday I just preached on the three guys trusting God in their high furnace. Now Daniel is trusting God in this lion den. And he said this happened. He said this happened the same day of the three guys. The three guys in the high furnace. He said all this happened in the same day. And so this story is about Daniel, who prayed to Israel God three times a day. Daniel is a faithful man of God, and Daniel is a good man. Um, but these evil people know that he is a good man, and they can't find nothing on him because they want to charge him with something, and since they couldn't find nothing bad on him, they said that's just find a law of God, for him to disobey God, so they're gonna find something that he do good that's dealing with God, so the lions den symbolize Daniel in the captivity in Babylon. So where God protected and sustained him because of his great faith. God was not concerned with man law, but he saved Daniel because Daniel obeyed God law and was very faithful to him. And see, that's what God looking for, faithful people. He looking for faithful people. Now he said he didn't say Daniel just to be saving him. He said Daniel because he was very faithful to him. So I just preached about the three men in the high furnace. Daniel said all this had happened the same day he was taken into captivity. At the same time, the three guys were thrown into the high furnace. When he was taken into captivity, that was the same day the three guys was in the high furnace. So they inhibited the same kind of trust in God. Both package. So yesterday, the three guys, they're trusting God. They didn't want to buy down, or worship no other gods. And that's how Daniel is. They're gonna tell Daniel he cannot pray. Daniel prayed three times a day. So Daniel's not gonna pay him no attention at all because he don't want to disobey God and stop doing what he been doing for a while. So the men expect to be rescued, you know. But if they would not, they would chose they chose trust in God over disobeying him, and even if it not, it caused his death. Now that's how the three I just talked about that yesterday, the three guys. They were willing to risk their life, because they're trusting God that God gonna save them. And even if God didn't, they say, they was just they rather die than to worship another God. So Daniel defied the king Darius' decree that the people should, and Daniel continued to pray to Israel. Now God, as he had always done, evil men who entangle degree in the first place. So this peg is something like the three men, like I just talked about, trusting God. God even in the high front, God even in the lion's den. So they refuse to worship other gods. So Daniel's the same way. They wanted him to stop praying, but he refused and trust God and kept on praying. Even if he had to go into the lion's den, which he did, he knew God was going to save him. So this story is going to be coming from Daniel chapter 6, 1 through 28. This king, Darius, took over the kingdom and now appointed 100 satraps uh, to rule out throughout the kingdom, and one will be over Daniel. You know, so the king also had three administration over them. Now one is over Daniel, and the subscribe and administration by his exceptional quality. So now Now they find out that Daniel had quality, so in Daniel, so they plan to set him over to the whole kingdom. So now they about to give him over to the whole kingdom. They found out he got quality and everything else, so they about to give him the whole of the whole kingdom. So now the subscriber and administrator only got over Daniel to find grounds for charges. And some people like that. Some people get under you just to find something false, something wrong about you, so they can just turn you in. So they only got in charge over Daniel to find grounds for charges against him. You know, but they was unable to find anything. You know, so they was unable to find anything on Daniel. So they don't say why. The only thing we can see it was jealousy, because they don't say why they want to find charges of Daniel. They want to find charges of Daniel for no reason. So now they want to find something on Daniel, but for no reason, at all. You know, they couldn't find no corruption. Nothing on Daniel. He was a trustworthy person. And some people don't like for you to be trustworthy and cling to God. They just got to find something on you. So they couldn't find nothing on Daniel. So finally they realized that they would not find nothing on Daniel. So they say unless it has something to do with the law of his God. So since they can't find nothing on him, now they're about to tap into the law of his God. So now they look at the idea. They took the idea and took it to the king. So they all in groups. So everyone agreed. They had everyone to agree that anyone who prayed to any god or any man during the next 30 days should be thrown into the lions. Now see, this what they found on Daniel. So they found something that he do with God. He prayed 3 times a day. And every time he prayed, he leave his curtains open. So they always used to see him praying. So that's what they found that he do. Just have something to come. See, they wanted some kind of charge against him, for they can take him in. And they couldn't find none. So they had to find something good that he do, to stop him, to put him in the lion's den. So the king issued the decree and put it in writing. So they then had this written up and put it in writing. That it cannot be altered or called with the law of with the law that we cannot appear, repair. So they're trying to put this in writing and have it sealed where no one will alter this degree. So now the king put the degree in writing. Now Daniel learned that the degree had been published. Now he hear about this, that the degree been published. They're published and everything. Now he hear this, but he not paying no attention, because he gonna go right upstairs to his little room, and he gonna get down on his knees, and he gonna start praying with his curtains open. And they're gonna see him in groups. They're gonna see him praying and take that and run to the king with it. So now Daniel prayed 3 times a day. And now what they published, that no one can pray to God or any man, or you're gonna be thrown in a lion's den in the next 30. Can't do all this in the next 30 days. So in the next 30 days, no one cannot pray, or you'll be thrown in a lion's den. So now Daniel know what they have in writing. Now he know what they have in writing. Daniel know what they have in writing, but he just not paying attention. Daniel go upstairs to his room and pray what he do every day, 3 times a day. So Daniel got down on his knees and he prayed, and he leave his window open, you know. So he not paying no attention, because if he was trying to hide it, he would have closed his little blinds. He not trying to hide nothing. He leaves the curtains open, knowing they're going to walk around and see him praying. You know, so Daniel got down on his knees and prayed, and he leaves the window curtain open. So now these men are still in groups walking around, you know. So then they found Daniel, you know, praying, asking God what to do, you know, giving God thanks, you know. So now these men went to the king. They couldn't wait to go to the king. You know, I bet they were so excited running to the king. Oh, we call him praying. You know, so now these men went to the king, that they called Daniel praying, you know, and now the king is questioning Daniel, that did you know not to pray in the next 30 days or you'll be thrown in a lion? He know. So the king said the decree stand in accordance with the law that cannot be repaired. Daniel paid no attention to the king or his decree. Daniel not paying no attention at all. You know, Daniel still prayed 3 times a day. King heard this and he was greatly distressed. You know, so the king was trying to rescue Daniel any way he can. You know, so now the king seemed like he concerned about Daniel now. You know, so these men are still in groups trying to convince the king to throw Daniel in the lion's den. Because see, the king have a little sympathy for Daniel. They have some kind of little relationship, you know. So he trying to talk to Daniel, you know, and trying to convince him to don't pray. Because see, them guys, they the one came up with that, not the king. They're trying to persuade the king to throw him in the lion's den, you know. So these men are still in groups trying to convince the king, you know, to throw Daniel in the lion's den, because they want him thrown in there, because they went through so much trouble to trying to find something on him, you know. So the king he went on to give the order, and they brought Daniel in and threw him into the lion's den. So they throw him into the lion's den, you know. So the king said to Daniel, "May your God May your God save you. You know, the God that you serve, let him save you. You know, may your God save you, you know, who you serve." Now a stone was brought in and placed over the mouth of the lion's den, and the king sealed it with his own ring, and Daniel are in the lion's den. You know, so now the king could not sleep. You know, because he have a little touch for Daniel. You know, he have a little touch for Daniel, a little relationship with Daniel. You know, he could not sleep. So he got up. He hurried to the lions and hurried to the lion's den. You know, so administrating in the suspect, it was a trap for Daniel. Now Daniel followed the administrator. It seemed like they're jealous. Seemed like they're jealous of the governor. All of them seemed like they're jealous of Daniel success in his relationship with the king, you know. So they look for a way to trap him up. And that's how some people do. If they can't find nothing on you, they will still find something that you do good, or whatever the case is, you know. That's why you got to change up things sometimes. You know, they see you going to the same place all the time, they'll use that, you know. But they quickly, you know, so the king looked for a way to trip him up. But they quickly realized that no ordinary they will accomplish their test, you know. Now somehow they have to make a way to obey his God, you know. So illegal. They were trying to find a way to disobey to God. Now King stated, in the next 30 days, no one can worship, no one can pray to no God and to no one. You know, so the law take procedures over friendship and feeling. Even a king is trapped. You know. So now the king said, "Whom you serve, been able to rescue you from the line. And this sound just like the thing, the package I put out yesterday. He's saying the God that you serve, will he be able to rescue you from this line? So Daniel answered the king and told the king, you live forever. My God has sent his angels and he shut the mouth of the lion, and they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. No, I have ever done any wrong before you, king. Now see, that's what Daniel talking about. Daniel telling him his good God that he served did rescue him. He sent his angels down to rescue him. So Daniel answered the king. He told the king, you live forever. My God has sent his angels, and he shut the mouth of that lion. That angel shut the mouth of that lion. And that's when Daniel came on out that lion mouth. He came out that lion mouth. And they had not hurt him. The lion did not hurt him at all, because he said he was found innocent, in his sight. He said, no, I have ever done any wrong before you. He haven't done anything wrong. They just wanted to find something to charge him with, and he prays. So they thought of something, we don't want you to pray no more in the next 30 days. So that's not nothing wrong, that they found on him. They just found something good that he do to use that against him. So the king was overjoyed and give order to lift Daniel out of the den. But when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound, was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. Just like the three brethren. Once you trust in God, you will come out any bad, any situation, any storm, with no wound, no hurt, because God will heal you in the midst of your storm. God know he hearing me little by little, because now my spirit can be calm in the midst of so much chaos. I still can find, not then, but now I can find some peace. Peace in the storm, in the midst of the chaos. For some reason, my spirit get calm, what it never used to do before. So he trusts in God. He trusts in God. And he came out of that line with no hurt. He was not hurt. He had no wound, no nothing on him. What's wrong with him? So the king commanded the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought in and thrown into the lion's den alone, not by himself, along with his wife. They say wife, so he must have had more than one wife, and his children. Now he brought this curse on his family from falsely accusing someone, because you were jealous and you just wanted to find something on Daniel. So now you don't put a curse on your children. You put a curse on your wives. Now all y'all gotta go in this lion's den. So the king commanded the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought in and thrown into the lion's den along with his wives and his children. So now these men who falsely accused Daniel, now him and his wives and children is going into this lion's den. And before they reach the floor of the den, the lion overpowered them and crushed all their bones. Oh my God. Now he done put this curse on his family, for falsely accusing someone. Before the family touched the floor. Before the family touched the floor, the lion had to crush all their bones. Before they reached the floor of the den, the lion overpowered them and crushed all their bones. All their bones was crushed. from falsely accusing someone. So the king wrote to all the people across the nation for everyone to praise Daniel, God, that he is a living God and he endured forever. His God who rescued Daniel from the power of the lion. So now this king here, just like the other page, now this king here telling everybody to give praise to Daniel God. Give praise to Daniel God. God that he endured forever. His God who rescued Daniel from the power of the lion. So Daniel prospered during the reign. So now Daniel trusts God even in a lion's den. You know, Daniel trusts God even in the lion's den to save him, and God saved him. So one, Daniel was a praying man who served God and did no wrong. Two, these evil men wanted to find something on Daniel for no reason at all. Three, they could not find anything on Daniel. So they got to turn to what he do for God. So four, they wanted to use something that's dealing with God. To have a charge on Daniel. So five, they told Daniel, excuse. They wanted to use something dealing with the law of God. Five. They told Daniel that he could not pray in the next 30 days or he'll be thrown into the lion's den. In the lion's den. So Daniel prayed 3 times a day. And so he heard, they told him to stop, but he didn't pay the king no attention at all. He went straight upstairs and he prayed with his curtains open that he always do. So when they was walking around to find Daniel, see what he doing, they found him nailed down praying. And they ran to the king. They couldn't wait to get to the king and say, oh, we caught him praying. Let's throw him in the den. So these men saw Daniel praying. Remember he leave his curtain window open. So Daniel knew they're going to place him in a den. He knew they was going to place him in a den, but he wanted to pray anyway. That didn't stop him. So Daniel knew they was going to place him in a lion's den, but he trusted God even in a lion's den. That meant he was risking his life. He know if they catch him, he wasn't trying to hide it. If he know they catch him praying, he know he was going into the lion's den. So when he was praying, he was not trying to hide it because he would have closed some curtains. So fully trust God that he will rescue you. In your storm, in your storm, in your trials. Trust God. Sometimes it's gonna be hard. Because sometimes the devil can come at you at full blast. And sometimes God will get quiet at you at the same time. But he will step in always right on time. So fully trust God that he will rescue you. God had rescued Daniel from the power of the lion at a nick of time. So the lion, it wasn't able to chew Daniel up because God showed up right on time. Trust God even when it's possible to be safe. Like a situation with the fire, the burning, the high furnace in the lion's den. It looked impossible for God to save you. But both of the cases took that chance. They took that chance. And they trusted God. Because if they didn't trust in God, he would have stopped praying. He didn't pay no attention. He went right upstairs to his room and started praying with the curtains open. So this pack was about trusting God, just like the one yesterday. Trusting God. They knew these were some jealous men. They saw that Daniel was a righteous man, always praying, being connected with God. And so they just want. Some people don't like when you're too good and you're too nice. They couldn't find no corrupted or anything on Daniel. So they had to find something good to bring him down. So this pack is pretty much about trusting God in your storm, trusting God even in the hot burning furnace, trusting God even in the lion's den. I'm experienced. Sometimes my faith get wavy sometimes, but I know one thing: the God that I serve will continue on rescuing me through this storm. Will continue on guiding me through this storm. Will continue on protecting me through this storm. So no matter how your faith waves, get the faith back, put the faith back in check. Because the only person that can save you is God. Don't worry about trying to serve no other gods and make images and all this kind of stuff. There's only one true God that can save you, no one else. So both packages from yesterday and today pretty much the same thing. Trust in God. Believe in God. Believe that He can pull you out of that storm. Believe He can pull you out of that line. Believe that He can pull you out of that high furnace and come out not harmed. That see Daniel come out of that lion den. He ain't had no hole, marks. He ain't had no kind of wound, nothing on him. He just come out of that lion den in one piece. Those three men come out of the high fines in one piece and they come out smiling. Daniel come out talking. Come out with no wound, no hurt, no nothing on him. Just come out of that lion's den. That's the kind of stuff that God do. But you got to seek God. You got to trust God. For you can have those kind of miracles like these two package shit. To have those kind of miracles, you got to trust God. And when you come out of your storm, like I told you yesterday, when you come out of your storm, look good. Don't look like you done been smashed up on in a storm. This guy Daniel came out still looking good. Still looking good. Come out there lying dead with being not hurt at all. Come out of the high furnace just smiling. And never no smoke, no fighting, never touch him. So we're gonna trust in God in our storm. We're gonna believe that no other man can trust us, can save us, and protect us like our Heavenly Father. You know, so we're gonna keep on trusting in God. No matter how the situation looks, no matter how your storm is, we're gonna keep on trusting in God because He is the only one that can save us. He's the only one that can get us through it. So I hope y'all have a blessed night, and that's all the word I have for y'all tonight. And I'll see y'all in the next video.